It all started with someone online saying something really stupid about how, and he was a public figure online, saying something stupid about how men didn't want to help women in games. I got really pissed off about it, and I talked about it in a meeting, and somebody said, if there's interest in it, then why don't we just do it, like, and see what happens. We approached a lot of groups in Toronto that actually like did women in games. A lot of them were like, yeah, we run workshops. And I was like, okay, well, let's take somebody from that workshop and let's give them money. Let's give them professional resources and let's actually make the game and then sell it and give all the profits to charity. Like their basic thing was there was this idea that like women can make games, but they shouldn't work on them, like these groups. I know that sounds really bad, but it's just like they were really focused on like education and they weren't focused so much on actually having the people in the business sphere. And as I explained to them, like if you're oppressed, that's not a reason a business will hire you. Like people will only hire you if they see how good your work is, not if you had to how much struggle you had to do there. And like that sucks as society, but that's society. So we just formed this group called the Fine Young Capitalists. We found a group, a transmedia group in Colombia. They're called a transmedia group because they do game work, but there isn't a big enough industry in Colombia to just do game work. And we said, oh, this is a great way. You can do a game, you can help out, we can have anybody who ever wanted to do it, any woman who wanted to do a game, didn't have the opportunity, they can work with you, your professionals, and you can actually make the game. So originally we put it up like, and when we just said we were going to do this, but we didn't have the money to do the pitches. So we put that up for like one day and we realized that was stupid. Then we spent about 6 weeks trying to just raise enough money to make these pitches for the people no matter what. So we were about to relaunch the site and basically we still had our video up, we still had the description that used to be up, and what happened is that Zoe found out about it and she said like they started asking who was involved and we said I didn't want to put my name forward because honestly because I'm a white guy and because like I work in businesses, like this is all I really do, and I really wanted to focus on like the women that were involved, and I want to make it really clear, like the way the corporate structure is done, I can't make money. Inevitably speaking, I'm unpaid, I'm bonded, which means I put down money that I only get back if the production succeeds. It's easier if you have a better understanding of contract law, but it's like, instead of paying me, they're just giving back the money that I gave them to promise I would do it. So anyways, Zoe found out about it. She's just asking about it, and I sent them, these are the people who are involved, and they're like, and then I put the corporation, which is the corporation that all the money was going for, and they said, well, does corporation have a website? And the corporation is a shell corporation, so it doesn't. So I just said, oh, just go to Autobotica's website. It has everybody. It has Lola's profile. It has everything, blah, 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 blah. And then that wasn't Zoe asking those questions. It was somebody else asking those questions. Now, what Zoe asked is specifically, she said, I really want to talk about this contest. And we said, okay, you can contact media or you can just tweet them here. And she just said, like, why do you think the women should work for free? And we were like, well, they're not really working for free. They're getting 8% of the money from the game and all of the art they own and everything else they own. And she just really found this wrong. And we're not sure why. It was really like, we don't know who these people are. They shouldn't be doing this. She just like would go through it and just like find things that didn't really make sense. Like one of the rules was that there's only a certain number of revisions that you could make to your pitch. And I know that sounds unfair if you haven't like worked in an industry where you do design work. The reason why we have those rules is because we could easily spend $100,000 on just continually redoing a pitch. We've been in productions where that's happened. But she's like, you're not giving them a much control, da 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 da. This is all, it's just exploiting women. And basically people jumped on that. People, like, we had a whole Twitter storm. And after, we only said two things. And then she just, her and her friend, who I'm not dragging into this whole thing, they just went on this long tirade about how it's exploitative, how we don't understand, how we're transphobic for some unknown reason. They pulled up my personal information, which is why I can talk to people. I didn't want to talk to anyone. They pulled up my personal information, so now I am doing it grudgingly. And they just pulled out because we hired to do the videos. Every woman who's worked on this production has been paid. So to do the videos, we needed someone to do voiceover work. And we said, we need a woman to sound smart. And she's just oh, look how they're obviously oppressing this woman by paying her to sound smart. I don't understand almost anything that went on with this. It just went up that the site crashed. And then she's literally we managed to end a horribly exploitative production just by talking about it on Twitter. And it was just the weirdest thing that happened. And the thing that happened was that existed in the public consciousness. So when we went to other sites, we originally were just going to post on all of these video game design boards and stuff. And we couldn't because people would immediately just bounce in and say, these guys are scam artists and this is exploitative. And we'd I don't really know how it is exploitative. And then threads would get closed because of that. And we didn't really know how to deal with this issue. So we sent out, there's a lot of, as this happened, we, literally put off the contest for a week. We talked to everybody, and we tried to figure out what the problem was, and we couldn't do it. And we contacted Zoe at this time, and she just didn't get back to us. So we put it out, and we thought that, it'd be really easy to just promote, hey, here's free money to design your game. We don't want to own the art. You're always going to own the idea. We just want to do it so that we can raise money for charity. And as I said, it isn't just one person. Various people in the game industry gave us crap. And journalists, as I said, would inevitably side with the people that they know. And even if we'd say no, we have a contract here, if we're doing anything wrong, tell the Canadian Gaming Board, because they'll fine us into oblivion. This isn't, tweeting about us is less effective than just telling the Gaming Board, because they will shut us down. It's just very weird. And then basically I just got more and more stressed about this whole thing. So we want to do this again. And we were literally if I have to pay Zoe as a consultant so that she explains what's wrong, I'll do that. So I got my sister to email her because we got interest from other people about doing this whole thing as a lifestyle television show on television. So we emailed her and we said we will pay you to consult it. At this point I had my sister's email. I had her doing it with the production company involved, and I mentioned the woman who was interested in, we weren't involved. Would you like to consult on a project like this? And she didn't get back to us. And then a couple days later I just said, hi, I'm Matt. I run this group. You had a lot of problems with it before. This is what we did. What did we do wrong so we can change it? And she didn't email it back. And her friend, which also was the friend she was talking to in this whole argument, we sent it to her. She just said, this is horrible. Why are you sending it to us? And then I said, if you tell us what's wrong, we will shut it down right away. And I even sent her emails for that. And then she just won't get back to us on it. And we don't know what we did wrong. But the whole thing is that we felt that even if we don't know what's wrong, we should at least try to do it because we promised the women that we'd do it. And it's just been this thing where, again, that comment that was on Reddit was entirely true. Journalists really sided with Zoe and they said it was exploitative, but they never explained why. We just couldn't get any coverage, and I thought I was going to get 10 upvotes and nothing was going to happen. And then we got thousands of upvotes, and couple of the journalists who, by the way, it's a couple for any of them who somehow get a version of this, conversation. It wasn't just you. Other ones did it. They were like, don't drag us into it. Don't do this. Da 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 da. And we're like, why don't we just take down this comment? Let's take Zoe's name out of the entire thing, and let's just do it like that. And I know I keep mentioning Zoe, and that's because, like, A, we said it the first time, B, all of her comments are on Twitter, and C, she's in the middle of this storm. And I don't want to, like, name the other journalists. I don't want to name one of the people was on the GDC panel of diversity, and she told people not to get involved with us. So it's like there are tons of like people that are involved that I just don't know if they don't understand it, or I don't know if we're just doing something wrong and we just don't understand what we're doing wrong. I'm gonna just explain something here to just put this in context, okay? People don't think that, like, I'm a feminist and I'm doing this for money, and like my thing is that we do ads. We can just like do an ad to sell sugary products to children and make so much more money than this. We did it because, literally speaking, I'm working with women who have really good ideas. They're going into a boardroom and people are rating them on like how attractive they are and how, you know, who they talk to, like everything about like, oh, this woman she's just in it, like she's been sleeping her way to the top. And it's like, even if the person isn't sleeping with their way to their top, they're just sleeping with people that they enjoy, that's in. This is part of the reason why, like, again, it's like, don't particularly want to be attached to the scandal that happened with Zoe, because we don't know the full story about what happened, and that's happened to women that I've worked with. All we want to do is to say, women have really good ideas. Maybe you should give them money, not because you feel sorry for them, but because they'll make you money and they'll make awesome games. And we didn't think this would be a revolutionary statement. We really did not think that this would be a revolutionary statement. But our issue is like, it is. And not only is it, but it's just the line that's going on with 4chan about how they're interested in helping us out, like they're supporting us or they're talking about us or they're giving us money. And it's just like, the thing is like, you can't take money from 4chan. Like that, one of the PR people who won't be named, at the very beginning, we said that, like, we think that if we phrase this right, everybody will like it. So even 4chan or would like this kind of a project. And they just walked off the production. They just said that you can't work with those people. That, like, that's not the message that we want to give. And my whole thing is like, that's no worse than again, it's not just men, it's even women who are like on these approval boards who say like, I don't want to work with this woman because I don't think she's experienced enough, or she's obviously slept her way to the top. And it's like, no, not only is that bad for the woman, but that's bad for you because you're not making money. And that is like, literally, that is your job. That's how you pay the bills. Like, there's so much wrong here. This isn't even a social issue. This is a business issue about it just being stupid. And I'm sorry if that's not the way I'm supposed to talk about these things. Like, I actually said I'm a selfish feminist. Most of what I'm doing because I want to play an awesome game that some woman has come up with. I want to talk to people on a podcast about it because, as I said, like, I'm a feminist. I know feminist theory. I support women's rights in a bunch of things that I do. I just don't hate men, and like, suddenly that's surprising. You can link to our videos on YouTube. You can go to the Fine Young Capitalist. There's a YouTube symbol. You can see the videos. Like, as I said, we're pretty feminists. And I don't even know if this is just like Zoe not understanding, or the Audre Lorde line is it's just, we're not the kind of, like, she didn't know what we were about, or she was really suspicious, or there's a lot of confrontation in the field, or whatever. Like, we don't know what it is. We just asked her and she hasn't explained. Again, I'm a horrible speaker, so I have no idea why people like talking to me. I want to make it clear that, like, these issues happen. I'm in media. Everything that's happened with Zoe, with this relationship stuff, that's happens so commonly in media, and I completely understand, like, that shouldn't be dragged around the public square. But I don't know what her problem is with me. I've been doing these interviews with, like, video game guys, and they're like, you're like the only nice feminist that we've ever spoken with. And I don't know where, keep in mind, when I say I don't know where that comes from, I do know where that comes from. Like, I know I've gone into groups that just don't want me there. And I know that even on this project, there have been groups that have just not wanted me there, but it's a really wide field. Like, Sarah Palin identifies as a feminist and Sasha Grey identifies as a feminist. So if you guys want us to talk about like video games, feminist theories, and what we can do to like make games that everyone can enjoy, or if you want to explain like why we have problems about particular things, I would love to do that in a exchange where I can actually talk to a person, like be able to draw out the theory, and that's why it is. But it's just a lot of the stuff that goes on is it's just this constant barrage about why you shouldn't be making games. I know one of them, the internet feminist was like, even Tetris is sexist. And I'm like, I don't think you should go there. We should really be talking about what people are doing right and what people are doing wrong and what we can do to make it everybody happy, that we can tell unique stories. And I don't think this is like a revolutionary message, like especially because I'm a capitalist person. And I'm like, we should do that because people will buy those games and then everybody can make money, which you can use to spend on things. Like, this isn't a social justice issue as like it is a social justice issue, but it's both. But it's very, I don't understand anything that's going on. And I don't understand why some of my allies or some of the people who are most supporting us are the people that are immediately associated with not supporting women. And why journalists are like complaining about, you shouldn't have written that there, you shouldn't have talked to them. And then we're literally like, they're the only people who are covering us. We're only talking to them because they're covering us and they enjoy the project. I don't know, and the money's going to charity. And it's like, I don't understand what the problem with any of this is. I mean, I'm not cool enough. I didn't like hanging out with the cool crowd. I think that's it. That I was just never popular in high school. So I just don't know how the world works. But I'm just like, I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. So let's just cut it there, okay?